Yo, Scrawny with the skinny. Back for Fantasyland, looking good, feeling good, and hopefully you are too, because we've got CS2 around the corner for IEM Sydney. There's a lot of uncertainty as to what the hell's about to happen, which teams might fall off, which players might go God mode, or who's just going to fall into the depths of irrelevancy. There's a lot of question marks around whether this game is ready, what the best of ones, MR12. Who knows what the hell is about to happen? So let's take a look at what just did happen. Showdowns, blast showdowns. I killed it. So close. I still have not got a 1% finish yet this season. This was just another super close one. Had I taken Tabson instead of Prosis, like I had Tabson back at Pro League, then suddenly this is a 1% finish and I nailed it. But should have gone more Cloud9, less G2. The Crimbo pick was the big one. Happy the boys on big, at least able to get into that grand finals is what it is. I wanted in North America to just do okay. And I did. Top 34% finish over in NA with a different collection of players. You know, the liquid complexity picks were definitely it. Cello played like junk, so that didn't help us. Should have gone for somebody from Legacy, probably Nekiz instead, would have freed up extra money. Then could have taken it to say Yakinder, or maybe gotten a little Elige in this mix, something along those lines. But hell, top 34, I'm going to take it. It's the best NA showdown that I have had in ever in terms of fantasy. That's a win. Find the silver linings. Silver lining is I'm in third place. That's right. Your boy is back in the top golden three. Maniac is the biggest threat. He was the biggest threat coming off last season. Sorry, Lucy, who is starting to climb, okay? Don't forget about Lucy. She won last season. She had a really rocky start, but she's almost back into the top 10. But I'm looking at the win, right? I'm looking at that golden crown that Maniac is currently set for. He's 11 points ahead of me. We're about 2/3 of the way through the season. I can do this. I have thrown a bigger lead from first place before, which means I can be the guy that capitalizes on Maniac messing up. It's doable. Stay focused, stay sharp. But it's also going to get weird because, again, CS2 and IEM Sydney. So these are best of one opening matches, MR12. And I'm just going to go quickly through how I anticipate the brackets rolling out. There is a separate fantasy event for playoffs, so keep that in mind. You're looking for teams that are making it with clean runs. Any team that qualifies for an upper final will get one round of bonus points, one padding points, and so I'm keeping eyes on teams that are going to make it clean. I think Bet Boom could very well cause problems. Vitality in a best of one MR12. Anybody in a best of one MR12 is a bit liable, but I think Bet Boom could be a sleeper pick here. I have big faith in Zorte personally. Really thought that after the Paris major, he was going to pick up a big signing somewhere in the CIS region. Didn't come to fruition. Now he's playing with Bet Boom. They've qualified for this land. They've been hyper fixated on CS2. They've got no other real competitions to focus on. These guys could come out swinging. I think Snacks on an individual level could also cause problems for FaZe when we think about the fact that FaZe has already sort of struggled, but I do put stock in Twists and Rops this event because I think that they have been very hungry to make this switch to CS2, and I think that they could also come out with a strong form. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say Bet Boom beats Vitality in this opening best of one. It goes Bet Boom, FaZe to the upper final. Navi beats Apex, and I think Maus dismantle Vertex. I'm not afraid of Australian players. I think that with all of these things changing, the format, the length of matches, the game itself, the one constant we know, Aussies don't have what it takes on an individual international level. And Maus are running white hot. So I'm saying Maus over Vertex and then Maus over Navi. They smoked him in that BO5 finals for Pro League. This will be a FaZe versus Maus upper final. And then through the lower bracket, I expect to see Vitality or Navi definitely emerge. More stock in Vitality than anything else. But I don't know, man. This best of one. You heard it here first. Group B, ENCE beat Linvision, Cloud9 beat Fnatic, Cloud9 will beat ENCE. I don't think ENCE are enjoying CS2, and my philosophy, okay, because here's the thing. we're in a realm where we don't know what the hell is going to happen, who's going to play well, which teams fall off. So I'm going to have to try to get philosophical in my predictions. And my philosophy is that players who enjoy the game will play better than players that are still just kind of whining and moaning about this switch over to CS2, it not being ready, etc. Too bad. It's happened. This is what we're playing. This is what we're competing on. You can bitch and whine all you want. Get out of the way. Anybody who doesn't have that mentality and is here to just capitalize on the opportunity to win games and possibly win events is going to do that. And so I think Ents are in that mopey group of people at the moment. Perfecto also kind of complaining on Cloud9, so who knows, but again, I know that's a very out there, avant-garde type of analysis. You're not ready for it, okay? But it's all philosophical, and that's how I see this, damn it. That's how I see that play out. And that's why I anticipate G2 smoking Greyhound and Monty beating Complexity. I hate to say it. Complexity have looked really good lately, and I think Complexity could actually cause upsets in this group unexpectedly. If anything, they're probably coming through on the lower final. I think that they could pull it together here. They're hungry. They're well gelled, and they're coming off of a big victory over Team Liquid that should bolster them with some confidence. But let's say Monty versus G2. G2 takes it. G2 wins the upper final as well. Because I think G2 are going to be very much surrounding m0NESY as the prodigy of Counter-Strike 2. I think m0NESY is going to be getting up into the tricks from the shadows. He's going to find, that slight competitive edge, whatever it's going to take. This kid's been frothing at the mouth to get his hands on a new game. We know that the m0NESY smokes. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do that extra effort that will keep G2 as a unit invigorated by his youthfulness. And, I think that, again, the riflers of G2 are kind of where I'm putting my stock, right? I think guys like JKS, Hunter, Nico, I think they're going to hit hard in Counter-Strike 2. I'm personally leaning a little bit away from oppers in general, to be honest, just because I think that the op feels sort of weird, and aggressive CT plays is really where M4s are going to shine. So anybody that was strong on an M4 before, I'm putting extra stock in, at least for this first event. Again, we are all going in blind. These are just my thoughts on the game, how it'll play out in the first event, etc., etc. G2 upper final win here, Mao's upper final win here. Therefore, we're going to do this a little differently, okay? We're in the back half of the fantasy season. I'm not going to do this, sit through the players and pick. I'm going to show you the roster that I'm committed to, already 100% locked in, right now, in a second. And then, right now, in a second. You like how I did that? Then I'll go through all of the players afterwards and give you my thoughts on like who's overpriced, who isn't, etc. So if you're looking to copy my team, this is what I'm rolling with. These are the barbarians. All right, we're getting our muscles out. Jimpat at 204,000, incredibly affordable. Guys coming off of an MVP performance at ESL Pro League. Again, there are uncertain variables at play, but form and current form is something that you can put stock in. And Mao's have that current form. I mean, this guy played lights out Counter-Strike back at Pro League, did not seem fazed by the pressure of the situation. And again, we're talking a group stage here. Put him in front of a crowd, maybe things fall off. We don't know what Jimmy comes forward with in those moments, but group stage, I think he's got it. And I think Shuey at 190,000 is an excellent pickup. He's going to farm in the opening game versus the Aussies. And just in general, Shuey's a good player. He's currently less expensive than Alexi B, less expensive than Apex, because these are winning in-game leaders. And Shuhei's price will continue to go up. 195, just under 200. He has an individual level that can compete with his group. Hunter and JKS, the riflers of G2, okay? Hooksy has been in an interview saying that he hasn't really touched Counter-Strike too much, that he was just going to do it once he got through Pro League, but then they also had Showdown. And so I think that G2 is a team to tap into. However, avoid Hooksy. I think it's an easy one to do with JKS and Hunter being reasonably priced. 214 for Hunter, 203 I think for JKS, but the real standout to me, it's the Bro pick, right? There's a couple of eco picks you can go for this week, and I think Bro is a nice one. He plays much better on LAN than he does online. He's a solid rifler. They start versus Complexity, and if my G2 pick flops to say Monty, well, I'm going to be at least cashing in on the underbelly of the G2 loss with Bro. Headshot Machine, his activation rate is pretty through the roof. In fact, everybody's activation rate works out with this draft. Eco-friendly support. Shu is always a tough one to pin down, and Camper for Jimmy because he's a very slow T-side player. So those are the Barbarians. All right? Enjoy and good luck. But if you just want my thoughts on certain players and drafts, here we go. I'm just going to scroll down. We're changing up the formula. Going to keep it fresh. I think Magisk, super overrated and overpriced at the moment. Maybe not overrated, excuse me. That's a little rude, okay? But my philosophy for this first draft and this first CS2 event is don't bother putting a player like Zywoo at 240K. We don't know if Zywoo is going to be the same Zywoo. Odds are with Zywoo, he'll be fine. But say like Sun Pius at 227, he's already kind of mid in group stage as opposed to playoffs. He doesn't like Counter-Strike 2. He's already whining, etc. It's just a weird player to put massive stock in when we don't know what's about to happen here. Same with Nico. Again, I'm all for the G2 because 214 and 206. I think Monacy's fair priced, again, just because on an individual level, I have more confidence in him to play this new version of the game. Torzy's now overpriced. I would avoid. Xerxin and Jimpat, you can kind of bounce between them, but Jimmy had solid recent form, and Xerxin has just been kind of treading water over the last 6 months. You know, there was a time where I was constantly drafting him because he sort of was what Jimmy is doing now. Other than that, I'd avoid it. As in Torzy and Frozen, I think just a little overpriced at the moment. The floor of Mao's has risen with the signing of Jimpat and Jimpat finding his groove, so he takes away from Frozen and Torzy's impact and ratings. Vitality in general, quite overpriced. Like I was saying, 221, 238, but I think Spinks at 219 is a bit of a steal. So if you're feeling Vitality, I would say Spinks. If you're feeling Ents, I would say Nertz. Slip in with Snappy and hope that he's just feeling better. His showdown performance was pretty horrendous, and I think he was making some very just unthought through decisions that led to deaths. Simple, brother, stop buying shotguns, or else I'm not going to draft you ever again. I love Simple, goat of CSGO, but it's tough to pick him on fantasy because then all of a sudden he's throwing away rounds. He's not trying to maximize his rating every single round because he's just playing. He's playing the game for fun, which is a good thing, but not for my damn fantasy. So, I think Navi, is a bit of a sleeper pick. I think Bit 210, JL 203, this is the duo I would slip in with, or put faith in Alexi B that he can at least match JL. But JL honestly impressed me back at Pro League, so he's that's where I'm leaning in this one. Monty, I don't think that with the complexity G2 openings, you can... I'm not ready to put that much faith in these guys. I will for Bro at this price tag. I would think about Sumdai Young if you're around a 200K mark. Barring that, yeah. FaZe, I would love to pick FaZe. And I think I might regret not drafting FaZe because Twist at 208, Rops 212, super affordable, very competitive. But will they hit the ground running? I would love to think so. And if I don't draft FaZe and they end up playing excellently, I'll be happy with that simply because we need to get this FaZe roster back online. Cloud9, I didn't think much stock. I think that Cloud9 are in a wishy-washy place where their LAN results look horrible. Then they qualify for Blast. They're playing better online. Is Hobbit actually going to be full-time IGL? Is he going to get replaced by Boomich? There's a bad juju, some weird omen with Cloud9 that I'm just not comfortable enough to touch. Gamer Legion, Snacks is a great price, 186. Elige, if complexity win, will be the reason. He could be worth 215. Floppy at 204 is very fair considering the Pro League, but I think, again, versus Tier 1 EU teams, any team scrolling past this, I'm not interested in. Except BetBoom. Again, this could be the real dark horse of the group stage, all right? If all you have to do is beat Vitality in a best of one and then follow that up potentially with a game against FaZe, who have been looking weaker and weaker as time has gone on over the last year, I'm telling you, Zorte's got it. I think if I knew more about Danists, or had more faith in Chiron or Siren, if this was like the old Fours roster, I love that Zorte Shalfie play, I just think that right now BetBoomer may be missing one more good rifler, or again, maybe these kids have it, but I just don't know it because I'm not in tune with this roster. Aussies, sorry. But those are my thoughts, and this is my draft, and this is HLTV Fantasy. Oh. It's actually not HL, it's just mine. It's fantasy land. Leave a comment. Let me know how your guys' seasons are going. Thanks for bearing with me over the absence in Pro League and the sickness that was Showdowns. But we're back.